Welcome back to the news at 10, and again we do sincerely apologize for the loss of audio quality at the start of the bulletin. We're working to rectify the problem so you can have the news uninterrupted. Former chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance and a candidate of the party for the Anambra Central Senatorial District rerun election, Chief Victor Omer, arriving at the Enugu airport today after being released by the Department of State Services. Chief Omer was arrested at his home yesterday morning by operatives of the security agency and was taken to their head office in Abuja, where he was questioned. He arrived to the embrace of and rejoicing from family members and political associates after being released early this morning. The DSS has not disclosed reasons for his arrest, but the politician told Channels Television that the Secret Service interrogated him on several issues, ranging from the situation in the southeast region to some statements he was said to have made. More than 2 million expectant mothers across Nigeria will get free access to prenatal screenings by 2020 under the new $20 million Mother and Child Health Initiative, just launched by the Nigerian and U.S. governments in collaboration with General Electric. The initiative centers on the use of portable ultrasound device to determine at-risk pregnancies to reduce preventable mother and infant deaths in Nigeria, which health officials have paid at nearly 40,000 annually. Our correspondent Omelogo Nadi reports.
Each year, nearly 300,000 expectant mothers die globally from causes that are preventable. According to statistics available since 2013, Nigeria accounts for about 40,000 of that number. To bring down and possibly eliminate this number is what the Mother and Child Health Portable Ultrasound Access, jointly launched by the Nigerian and U.S. governments with the American energy giant General Electric, is targeting.
Every dollar invested in health multiplies the benefits for productive activities.
It also encourages mothers to seek more than 4 antenatal care visits. It empowers midwives with basic obstetric scans, and it improves clinical decision-making and pregnancy management.
Nigeria's goal is to save 1 million lives annually, but now with this initiative, they envisage that at least 100 million Nigerians will be touched, including healthcare workers.
Losses of as many as 33,000 women from pregnancy-related causes, and as many as 240,000 babies in their first month of life, contributing significantly to the nearly 900,000 children under 5 mortality rate in the world.
The funding that has been provided for this particular project that has a lot of package within it, which include training of health workers, will go a long way in terms of keying into the robust health agenda which the present administration has, and that is making sure that 10,000 PSCs are functional all over the country. And with that innovation, that intervention, we believe that about 100 million Nigerians will have universal access to healthcare.
A comprehensive training is expected to start in May, followed by ongoing mentoring and grading in the field by qualified health workers. Expectant mothers will begin to receive the V-Scan access screenings in June at participating primary health care clinics and general hospitals in the target states.
The Inter-Ministerial Committee for Resettlement of Internally Displaced Persons is on a 3-day working visit to Borno State. It's expected to strategize on how instituted civil authorities can take charge of liberated communities in the state. The head of the delegation, Professor Nana Tanko, explains their primary focus is on resettling the IDPs.
For over 6 years, about 300,000 people have been displaced from various communities in Yobe due to continued activities of Boko Haram terror group in the region. Now the story is different because the security forces have taken back most of the area captured by the terror group, and life is gradually returning to the areas. Because of this, the federal government Interministerial Committee for Resettlement of Internally Displaced Persons are on a 3-day visit to ensure that all liberated communities by security forces are handed over to civil authorities.
This committee is to consult with the government and the people of Yobe State, and especially the civil law enforcement agencies, to look at the areas that have been liberated, to look at the state of these areas, the communities in these areas, the people that are in the area, and look at what structures need to be put on ground to make sure that life is made comfortable for them.
The Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Abubakar Aliyu, says since 2011 till date, over 280 persons are currently living in different neighboring communities in the country.
The state currently has 3,402 IDPs in 2 official camps and a total of 22,097 IDPs in self-set up camps, while a total of over 280,000 IDPs are living in different host communities here in the state. The total number of public buildings and facilities destroyed across the 12 local government areas is 1,098, while private structures, assets in the form of buildings, shops, vehicles, livestock, etc., belonging to almost 24,000 individuals were destroyed during attacks.
The state government commends the efforts of the security personnel and the commitment of the President Buhari-led administration towards ending the insurgency, but challenges the committee and other collaborating partners to ensure the resettlement, reconstruction and rehabilitation of devastated areas.
Staying with security matters, Inspector General of Police Mr. Solomon Arase has denied allegations that a police helicopter from Nasarawa State supplied arms to herdsmen during attacks on communities in Agatu. Mr. Arase says the claims of the villagers, which has been investigated, could not be substantiated.
Men, women and children displaced from Agatu community because of the communal clash between the farmers and the Fulani herdsmen. They are taking refuge in this primary school in Akwa local government. It appears to be the most uncomfortable for the women and children. They accuse the police of aiding their attackers.
Fulani they are from Nasarawa State, and they use a headquarters from Nasarawa State with some army force. So I then destroy Aku.
A claim the Inspector General of Police dismisses.
Let's just assume that it's still in the realm of speculative allegations, and I don't think it is true, because a helicopter cannot hover around a space like that and it's not visible. So I think it's not true.
Eventually, the police boss meets with Agatu farmers and Fulani herdsmen in peace and reconciliation talks.
They are ready to go in peace to health.
While the herdsmen blame their action on an earlier attack by Agatu youths who killed 6 herdsmen, the Agatu elders paint a gory picture of the history of attacks by the herdsmen since 2012.
The youth of Agatu refuse to comply with what they need, because even yesterday and then before yesterday they went to local in the neighboring country, continue shifting towards local, and local is the Nasarawa State.
Is it a double justice? Is it because Agatu is a small place and the Fulani are taking advantage of their size? They have the money, they have the means, they have the population. I believe might is not right. Agatu is begging. We have our president to protect us.
The Inspector General of Police appeals to them to return to the path of peace.
They have to learn to live together. They have lived together all this while, and there is no family. There are no friendship that you don't have occasional, altercations. We disagree even at our family level, based on perspective and principles. So we always continue to disagree. But when those disagreements, whenever they cross the threshold into resulting in violence and wanton destruction of public property, that is not acceptable.
Mr. Arase is confident that peace will return to war-torn Agatu as he constituted a peace committee involving the parties in the 3-week-long crisis.
Let's check in on the world of business with Adeshawa Josh.
You first. First Bank.
everyone, welcome to Business News. A prevailing security threat to electronic payments has been discovered by the Nigerian Electronic Fraud Forum. Known as ransomwares, information security experts say the threat is a form of e-fraud that hinders access to bank accounts through various bank services channel. The discovery was made known at the first general meeting of the forum in Lagos, where the central bank announced plans to set up an e-fraud unit at the Nigerian police force.
Over 250,000 types of malware called ransomware all over, and it's getting more and more, and people are making a lot of money out of it, and for some people it's full-time business, and therefore we as consumers and users of electronic products, we have to be careful, especially when we see things. It comes via email. Sometimes you see some email and it has some funny file attachment. Don't download it, especially if you don't know who it's coming from.
We requested that the police force, in collaboration with the forum, that is the Bankers Committee, led by the Central Bank, should set up a dedicated unit for e-payment and card crime. And why did we make this request? Because it was noticed that one of the things that has not been done too well is the apprehension and prosecution of fraudsters. So we believe that with this unit running in the Nigerian police force, the level of apprehension and the level of prosecution will increase. And of course, this will serve as a deterrent to fraudsters.
The House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to make special provisions for foreign currencies at official rates available for Nigerian students studying overseas. The House passed a resolution on Thursday stating that the foreign exchange to be set aside could be released to the students on a monthly basis to meet their various expenses that include fees and allowances. The financial regulator was advised to appoint some commercial banks to implement the project and ensure that the list of the beneficiaries are made public. Nigeria's textile and apparel industry has declined to about 30 operational textile mills, running at an average of 40% in stored capacity, as the influx of cheaper fabrics from China and India tops $130 million. That's about 24.7 billion naira as at the third quarter of last year. A report released by the investment firm Aviation states that most textile manufacturers complain of high cost of financing, as rates on loans are close to 30%. The report further states that 100 billion naira government intervention fund disbursed some 6 years ago at 6% interest were used largely to refinance existing loans by the textile firms. The annual global output of textile firms was estimated at $400 billion. The Benue State government has launched a partnership with a mining company in the state to produce a cooking coal stove, which will replace the use of kerosene stove and firewood, and also create a 1,200 megawatt power project. The state governor, Mr. Samuel Otum, made this known when he received the consortium of the group handling the project in Makurdi. To the Nigerian equities market, where a basis point was added on Friday as momentum slowed but ends the week in positive territory. Here's Temple Ashaju with the details.
Welcome to Stock Market Report. The stock market ended calm this Friday as profits-taking and renewed entry clashed on bargain hunting around shares with strong fundamentals. Over 257 million shares were traded at a value of 1.49 billion naira in 3,435 deals. While the all-share index stood at 25,820.10, the market capitalization hovers around 8.88 trillion naira. But as always, the banks made the top picks on the trades list, with FCMB taking the lead by over 57 million units. Guarantee Trust Bank and UBA come next. Market breadth ended negative as 15 advances was outweighed by 19 decliners. With 9.73%, Africa Prudential led UCAP and Union Bank, which both gained by 7.55% and 4.91%. Investors, however, showed less interest in Ikeja Hotel, Lion Africa, and Sterling Bank, which posted a 4.12% loss for the day. And that's the stock market report. I'm Temple Ashaju.
Thanks a lot, Temple. Let's also check out closing figures from other markets around the world. And that's business news tonight. The news at 10 continues in a moment. I'm Adeshewa Josh.
You first. First Bank.
Reckitt's Benckiser, makers of health, hygiene and home products including Dettol, has launched a new member of the Dettol family in Lagos called the Multi-Service Cleaner. In a drive tagged Dettol Clean Niger, the cleaning agents company took to mopping the floors at the Accident and Emergency Center of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital in Idiaraba. Our correspondent, Mary Alale Yusuf, reports.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, approximately 150,000 children under 5 years die of diarrhea in Nigeria owing to poor sanitation. So, armed with mops, buckets and Dettol multi-purpose cleaner, these Clean Niger soldiers from Reckitt's Benckiser march to attack the dirty floors. Reckitt's Benckiser is launching the Dettol multi-surface cleaner for the first time in Nigeria and has decided to put it to the test at the Accident and Emergency Center of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital.
80% of the diseases are actually received at home, especially in indoor places. So it's not only good enough to wash your hands, you need to also keep your surroundings clean. And in order to be able to do that, you need to have an affordable solution. So this product is actually 10 times better than detergent in terms of germ kill, and 10 times better in terms of cleaning versus bleach, and even actually it's more affordable when you use it actually together. Detergent plus bleach plus fragrance is more expensive than this solution, so everything is in one bottle.
The company has chosen Luth for specific reasons.
What is the hotspots? So the hotspots are actually the hospitals, and Luth is one of the biggest hospitals that we have in Nigeria.
We invite corporate organizations to partner with us in some of these things because there are many competing issues or resources or projects in the hospital.
A second high point is the unveiling of a sink for washing hands, donated by Reckitt Benckiser.
Also, let's send some hand sanitizer here as well.
We have them here. Dettol multi-surface cleaner, which the manufacturers boast can clean any surface, comes in 3 fragrances: floral, lavender, and lemon.
Let's head up north now. The Kaduna State government is set to partner with Arik Air to increase the number of in-flights and provide employment opportunities for youth. The state governor, Nasir El-Rufai, unveiled this plan when he visited the headquarters of Arik Air in Lagos.
The Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, is taking a tour of the premises of Arik Air, a leading name in the nation's aviation industry. The group moves from one point to the other.
Well, this is the modern operational control center.
For the governor, transportation is important for free movement of individuals and growth.
Transportation is important. The federal government is aware of that, and we need to all advocate for the creation of the appropriate policy environment for the growth of the transportation industry. And aviation is a key part of that intermodal system of transportation.
And when they return to the conference room, the Kaduna State government says it wants to do business with Arik and create jobs for its citizens through the aviation sector.
Arik is perhaps the last man standing as far as indigenous aviation companies are concerned.
In the seeming sluggish state of the aviation industry, this plan is exciting news for Arik Air team, but they want the federal government to introduce policies that will increase the growth of the sector.
We want to expand our operations into the region. We count upon the state government support in terms of consolidating the travel spend, consolidating the travel volume, all those services, so that we can offer better services, better discounts, and it is also cost saving for the government.
It's a market that we have looked at, and we've seen that yes, there is potential for having up to 2 flights, and the airlines that are servicing that route also testify to that. So yes, we are looking at various options, either to have overnight or to even increase the frequencies.
Air transportation seems to be the safest way of traveling. Creating such opportunity across the state will go a long way in reducing unemployment in the country.
Still ahead on the news at 10, newly invited Portland Timbers striker Fernando Adi promises his best to ensure Nigeria's victory over Egypt in the 2017 AFCON qualifiers. More in sports news. Please stay with us.